Let's find out what happens. It's going to be Supersonic Avengers versus Summit coming up right now in the Rocket League Championship Series. With the commentary, it's going to be James Bott and Lawler. Take it away, guys.
Thank you, Axel Toss. Lawler, we got to see Supersonic Avengers play in the upper bracket against Precision Z, where they fell, and they were able to still get into league play through that lower bracket. So do you think Summit's going to give them an issue?
I don't think it'll be an issue, but I think it'll be very close. Supersonic, like they said, they have two players between Snasky and ELMP that like to play very aggressive, while Doomsy is more of one that likes to poise up, stay patient, and then attack. That can be very scary when a team like someone with Doomsy can sit back when this pressure isn't going to be matched. So they need to, over on Summit, really put some pressure on. Otherwise, Doomsy's going to have a field day.
And again, another player, we saw Jesse, Flarkey 7, they struggled a little bit against Mocket. They threw in that Neo Tokyo pick, so I wonder if we'll see another mix-up here against Supersonic Avengers. But, I mean, against a player as snazzy as Snasky, is there really any hope?
No, it's Snazzy Snasky, man.
And also, those of you, we may be calling ELMP Lamp. So I actually had a chance to talk to ELMP about this, and I said, ELMP, a lot of people call you Lamp, but your name is ELMP. What do you like to be called? You know what he said? He said he didn't care, and the only reason that he doesn't change it to Lamp is because he's too lazy to change all of his Twitter handles, YouTube pages, and everything to Lamp.
It makes sense. It makes sense. Why the whole Lamp thing started, I don't even know, but it just rolls off the tongue.
So we'll see if I'm going to call him ELMP.
Me too.
For ease of viewers' sake. But
we'll
we've
agree
got
for ELMP.
Game 1 here versus Summit Supersonic Avengers. The first time that we'll see them on stream here in week 1 of league play. And ELMP wins that face-off, but Flarkey was there. Snasky off the wall. Sebbing him up with a chance to put a shot on net. Doomsy is able to get in the way. Now Flarkey with the Fuels backflip, man, leaving the net wide open, and ELMP will not miss that shot.
Just like you stated, good contest getting up early on that one was Doomsy, and then playing that back into the corner, but just Fuels backflip, like you said, causing a mistake, and ELMP is going to take full advantage of that, putting them up with only 17 seconds gone in this match.
Not the start that you were hoping for if you're Summit coming off a 3-0 defeat against Mocket. That defensive mistake leading to an immediate goal for Supersonic Avengers. Now ELMP off the wall. Flarkey does get the hit, but it's going to bounce out to Snasky. Snasky with a shot on net. Jesse can't get back in time, and that's going to be a goal for the Catman.
What a fantastic play by Snasky as he gets up. As soon as that ball gets pushed to the side, he contests it immediately, and even though Seb gets the first hit, Snasky pushes through him and pushes it to the net. Well played.
Snasky putting his team up by 2 with just 30 seconds off the clock. Supersonic Avengers off to a quick start. Now Sevenum's going to go up, trying to bank that one off the backboard, but it goes straight down. He wasn't ready for it. Flarkey with the hit, easily handled by ELMP, but Doomsy actually bumps ELMP far out of net, and that net was wide open, but Jesse couldn't put the shot in.
No, it looked like he wanted to go for Flarkey, but Flarkey was too busy collecting boost just so he can make a counterattack, and he's going to try and take it himself.
Good idea by Flarkey trying to put that off the backboard, but it just bounced too wide, and Jesse couldn't get the angle on it. And now Supersonic Avengers on the attack. Doomsy leaving that for ELMP. Doomsy rushing back to defense. Gets the pop, gonna go for another hit himself. Again, just smashing ELMP. Doomsy, they might be having some sort of conflict.
Yeah, there's a couple things too going on.
Oh, and Flarkey taking advantage of the chaos and putting one in.
Yeah, Flarkey doing a really good job on patience, even though Jesse doesn't get that hit. He takes his time after that first bounce, but as soon as he recognizes Snasky is out of position, he takes a quick shot and puts that far post. Very difficult for Snasky to reach, and putting this back within 1. Summit's not out of it.
And I wouldn't really put that on Snasky. You saw Doomsy up on the wall and ELMP both jumping for it, so Doomsy getting a little bit aggressive against his own team. Now Sevenum trying to pass that out into the middle for Flarkey, but Snasky was there. Now following it up, gets a good bounce out into the middle, but nobody was there yet again for Supersonic Avengers. Off the side of the wall, Doomsy's waiting for it. Gonna slow play it by Sevenum. Picks up the boost and now is gonna have a chance to dribble it out. Gets it by Flarkey. And now Doomsy past Jesse. He's gonna pass it out into the middle, but it was too close to the sideline, and ELP wasn't able to make much of that.
Still good idea by Doomsday, able to beat 2. With the dribble, you generally only want to beat 1.
Oh, chance. But Flarkey puts that out.
Yeah, the benefit of taking 2 out, it allows your other teammates to move into position. Like you said, though, was up against the wall, not able to get the flick out that he was looking for in a pass. But it did draw a lot of the defenders out of the net.
So we saw Supersonic Avengers gallop out to a quick lead, but now starting to struggle a little bit. Summit within striking distance. Jesse getting shut down by Doomsday. Now Doomsday's going to follow it up. Flarkey is going to get there first as Doomsday actually retreated. Driving backwards, that's not going to help as Sevenum ties up the game.
Great pass coming out from Flarkey as he goes up early, gets a tap off the wall, fouls it up, and then makes another one very quickly. Instead of playing it near, he plays it across, and then it allows Sevenum, who beats both those with a beautiful shot, tying this up, 2:14 left.
Now the face-off. Supersonic Avengers got out to that 2-goal lead, but Summit answered right back. Snasky trying to lead the attack. Jesse intercepts. Now gets it by Doomsday. Flarkey up. It's going to be a chance. The net's wide open, and Sebedum gets another goal for Summit.
Beautiful demo by Jesse coming out. As soon as he plays that it, he goes and looks, gets boost, and then doesn't get ELMP, who he originally wanted, but then finds another person in net and gets rid of him. Wide open net for his teammate, and they're up. What a swing of events.
That demo making things easy. And like you said, a swing of events. 3 unanswered goals by Summit. Now ELMP is going to put that high. Snasky also bouncing it up. Doomsday coming in, trying to finish it off, but Sebedum is able to make the save. ELMP hitting it off the backboard. Leaving it now. Snasky wasn't able to get there in time. Jesse touching it by Doomsday. Doomsday backwards again. Trying to get back in net. Leaving this one. Doomsday does stop Flarkey. And now Snasky on the wall. Snasky getting the hit. Down to the blue half, following it up. This is a chance. Doomsday's going to go up, but Flarkey beat him to it.
Like he has a chance.
Wide open net. But he didn't get, oh, Sebedum stuffs Snasky for the 4th goal.
I thought Flarkey didn't have it. He had such a soft touch here as he goes up. Could have played that a little bit hard. I thought he was going to just shoot it. But luckily for him, Sebedum's going to shadow all the way to the net and put it in. I'm surprised he got it around that. It didn't look like he had it.
It really didn't. It looked like Flarkey, had botched that goal. Snasky getting there in time, but Sebedum played the clear, and Snasky got stuffed on that one. Now a 2-goal lead, 4 unanswered goals for Summit. Sebedum's going to pass it over to Jesse. Jesse using his tail, trying to pass it over to Flarkey. Sebedum with a tap. Flarkey going up, but ELMP intercedes. Now Jesse up on the wall is able to get it into the corner. Doomsday missing out on that one as Jesse's going to get that down into the orange half. Doomsday's going to put that out into the middle. Now Snasky with a long clear. 30 seconds left. Supersonic Avengers need 2 to force overtime. ELMP racing back, going to try to get a long clear off the wall here. He's going to go for a second touch. Going for the shot, trying to air dribble it in. Gets it past one, but Jesse was there to deny.
Good job by Jesse, staying in net and staying patient, not forcing himself to go up, trusting his teammates. Quick clear to the outside, and then it buys some time. And with 7 seconds left, very difficult for SA to get back into this.
And as the final seconds wind down, Summit gets their first win in league play. Supersonic Avengers fall 4-2.
Good adjustments coming up by Summit after that last series getting 3-0'd like you mentioned. To come out, play strong, and then stick it, even after going down by 2, to come back with 4 unanswered points is not easy.
And Sebedum getting that hat trick. You saw him there getting that stuff on Snasky on that weak shot by Flarkey, but Supersonic Avengers got off to a quick start, but then it was all Summit.
Well, that's what you want to see out of a team. After mistakes are made, you have your teammates to round it out and take advantage of it. So even though Flarkey, that pass was very light, he could have made that shot with a little bit of effort. I thought Snasky had the save. Like, it looked like he clearly had it, but Sebedum said no way.
Yeah, mistakes were made. But Supersonic Avengers, they did have some moments of brilliance, but really cooled off. And I thought Doomsday had a few moments there where he was up in ELMP's grill, and that affected him. And you saw Snasky being left high and dry on defense.
Right.
That opened up an opportunity for Summit. So I think they're going to have to play a little bit more spacious, give each other room to operate, and start looking for those passing plays, because the end of that game was pretty ugly for Supersonic.
Right, and that's something that you can do to mix things up, is when you're in and tripping over each other, a lot of people describe it kind of as like a bubble. Like, this is the area that I know I can cover. I can make sure I can hit it from over here and over here. Anything around that, I got. And that's where your teammate needs to kind of respect, because you see it especially in lower league play where people start to bump into each other. They don't have that faith. And you might see that. They're pressuring a little bit too hard. Let your teammate make us play first and then get into it.
And especially coming off the wall, if you have no boost, you're pretty much guaranteeing that your team will not have you back to help them for many, many seconds. And we saw how high Doomsy and ELMP were on that wall. So when you come off, even if you've got boost, that's so much time that you're not going to be useful. And Snasky, even if he got that save, they still wouldn't have been back in time.
Right. There was a couple times even when Doomsy, where they got punished for. We mentioned, I said that someone made a mistake when I think it was Flarky, who noticed that Snasky was out of position, and part of it was actually because Doomsy was out of position. I didn't even see him up on that back wall. He was blending in with his surroundings, trying to go for some like Spider-Man-ass saves, but that's not what you want to do. You want to be in net, ready to make a position, or someone needs to contest that. The issue is it put Flarky in a kind of a weird position with him being up there, and I didn't even recognize that at the beginning. And
the trend continues of a team coming out, and in their first series, they're struggling a little bit, and in the second series, really picking it up. So it really has played out that way. It's surprising. So it's the first time we've had the schedule where teams play back-to-back. So to see how that kind of mentality affects these teams, you wonder if they're even warming up before these games.
No, it's interesting to see how that's been consistent, like you mentioned, because usually with the team, you want to play a little bit beforehand just so you're warm, just so you're not kind of coming in cold, as we mentioned. And it doesn't seem to matter, because every single time, even when there's teams that come in really hot, like we saw yesterday, Deception played insane, but in the end it didn't matter. And then their next one, they get really, really close again. Doesn't matter. So there is certain sides to it, but yeah, it helps coming in against this team that's kind of showing your weaknesses to you, that you're able then to adapt by the next game. Because sometimes mid-game adaptions are very tough to complicate and change.
Yep, so we are getting the players in for this lobby. We'll have them starting in just a moment. But Supersonic Avengers, they drop Game 1. They're going to look to get Game 2, Supersonic Avengers and Summit, both teams that made it in through the lower bracket. Summit consisting of Jesse, who was there in the first qualifier in the first season with the Flying Dutchman. And now we'll get game number 2 kicked off here. We'll go down on the field. Sebedum and Doomsy lining up on either side. And this one, Supersonic Avengers, hopefully for them, they give each other a little bit more space to work with. But on the kickoff, Doomsy going for it against Flarky. Snasky gonna follow that one up. ELMP up to get the shot, doesn't get much on it, but Snasky's up, setting it for ELMP, and Flarky gets the long clear.
Right idea to play that back in the mid, but probably should have put that on net. Unfortunately, not aware of where his teammates were, and it still allows this team of Summit to pressure, as soon as the ball gets cleared out, they get put right back in, unfortunately hitting his teammate, and it works in favor.
Oh, Doomsy from the corner, able to put that on target.
Yeah, that touch I was talking about where he plays it up to the corner, hits the back end, and then as soon as that happens, they recognize the mistake, played out very quickly, and the Doomsy with a well-placed shot and a redirect as that pass comes across.
ELMP hitting it right over into Doomsy's area, and Doomsy, that's a high degree of difficulty shot, but Doomsy making it look easy as Supersonic strikes first yet again in Game 2.
Trying to come back with a counterattack with Summit, but still, good job reading that and getting that in front of by Supersonic Avengers. They need to be careful. You can tell the Summit team starting to pick up the pace.
Now off the backboard, ELMP getting beat out. Is anyone back? That one's going to go off the post, and Snasky popping it over Flarky. Sebedum's up. It's going to go off the wall. And now Sebedum going to try to follow up. Doomsy and ELMP both going for that same ball yet again. It's going to bounce straight down. Doomsy does kill that one. Now Flarky off the wall. Doomsy's there to force it downfield. Trying to chip it by. Sebedum here does get it, but Jesse knocking that one up the wall. Jesse with another chance, going for a shot on net. Snasky back. Doesn't get the hit, but still manages to get that corner boost.
Watching Jesse, he's starting to play a little bit more patient. I actually like that. We talked about how they were kind of tripping up on each other on both sides, and you saw a little bit of it from Summit too. but he is letting his teammates go for it as he just rotates around, waiting for his opportunity.
Oh, chance for ELMP going up against Flarky, but Flarky gets the win. Snasky hurrying back, demoed by Jesse, but Doomsy's able to get back. You saw Jesse went for that bump on Doomsy as well, almost making some magic happen.
Super close, and I like when he recognizes what's going down, but he has a chance now here with the shot and plays it top left.
Jesse with the equalizer.
Yeah, that clear went right to him in the middle, and they're doing a good job. Summit really spreading it out as there was no one near him and no one in the middle of that field even, as he's able to just take a touch and then take another shot immediately after. No one in his face.
On the face-off, Snasky going up against Sebedum. Tosses it by, but Jesse's there for the win. Now ELMP gonna go off the corner. Flarky gets the hit, but it's gonna bounce right to Doomsy. Doomsy's putting it off the backboard. Sebedum misses, but Jesse was there to relieve the pressure. Now Snasky up to ELMP, who gets it right off Flarky's bumper. That ball going out to Jesse. Looked like he had side flipped, trying to recover. This is not a good position. ELMP and Doomsy both in the same spot yet again.
Yeah, you even saw ELMB take a little bit of a bump on the backside of Doomsy a couple seconds ago.
And that might be falling in if Doomsy can't get there, but he does. Forcing it down the side, but still a little bit of craziness in the positioning from Supersonic Avengers.
Seem to be quite a bit on their back heel. They need a big clear. And every time they try to push it out, it doesn't seem to matter. They need to get a little bit more creative, like we saw earlier with the ELMP passing it to Doomsy. They were able to get it upfield, but as of right now, other than stuff like that, where it's a quick clear, it gets put back in immediately.
Snasky up in the air, and he makes them pay for that mistouch.
Taking full advantage of that mistouch. Like you stated, Snasky plays it up, and as soon as they get touched, not only do two go up, causing a problem, but that pass put right back in the center of the net area. And then Snasky with a beautiful shot, placing that top left, making it very difficult and out of reach of the Summit defense.
Yeah, and you saw it looked like Sebedum, who was coming out of the side for that save. So Snasky got there just a split second before him and was able to get Supersonic Avengers the lead. Now ELMP getting that ball bounced around it by Flarky, who's putting the ball up into the orange half. Jesse driving backwards. That doesn't work out a lot of the times, but he manages to make it work here. But a bump from Doomsy and then a demo takes Jesse out of the play.
Fortunately, that stops the pressure they have, but it's getting close. Almost didn't matter. But that demo caused that last man that was going to rotate in for the shot to have to reset. Buying some time yet again for SA as they hold on to this lead.
Just over a minute left to go. Snasky's going to roll this up. Flarky prevents that from going out into the middle, but misses his second touch. Doomsy quickly takes control, and still a dangerous spot. ELP off the backboard. Snasky with a shot. That's going to hit the crossbar, and Flarky keeps it out. That one's so close for Supersonic.
Snasky needs to put that in after drawing that many defenders out and then to hit the crossbar. They could have really separated themselves in this match, but look as Summit tries to counterattack.
Cool heads prevail for Summit as they keep that ball out of the net and still are just one goal behind. Sebedum, though, driving around that ball. Doomsy's going to try to pass this down. It's bouncing in for Snasky. That's going off the wall. Flarky will have control. 25 seconds left. Off the backboard, Jesse again off the backboard. Snasky's going to set it up for Doomsy. Can Doomsy get there in time? No, it's ELMP waiting. And he just lets that go into the corner. Snasky off the backboard. Jesse with the win. That shot's on target. ELMP lost control of his car, and Sebedum ties it up.
Flarky, I don't even know what he was doing here. He actually checked back to the ball as he was trying to do a backwards flick. Luckily, he was able to kind of like matrix out of the way because Sebedum over the top put his shot perfectly on net, taking full advantage of that mistake, and it ties it up. 8 seconds left.
It looked like ELMP might have been airborne. It was hard to tell, but why would he be in that corner? And now Supersonic Avengers gives up the lead in the final seconds as Summit comes roaring back, and we're going to have overtime in game number 2. Now Jesse winning that face-off. Snasky's going to put it up the wall and leave it for boost. Flarky off the backboard. Snasky putting it down to Doomsy. Doomsy's going to put it into the corner. Might be a good bounce. It is. Flarky with a hit. Sebedum following it up.
Great clear by Flarky.
Now Snasky puts that out. Flarky's ready for it. This is dangerous off the backboard. Doomsy does get the touch. But Jesse still keeping the pressure on. Doomsy up the wall, putting it over for ELMP. ELMP misses it. Now Snatsky's going to have to make the play. He's got time and puts it long into the corner. Good play by Snatsky as Snatsky single-handedly takes this overtime for Supersonic Avengers.
What a shot for Supersonic Avengers, and giving Snatsky way too much time. Two players had the chance to pressure him up on that wall and both just rotate back to net. Snatsky taking full advantage of the space given to him, plays it and puts it off that wall. Way to clutch it in the end. That's what you need out of a teammate.
Snatsky, not only did he have that shot, he passed it to himself. He was left alone on defense and just sails that ball so far out of his zone and reads the ball perfectly off the corner to put that in overtime when Supersonic Avengers had given up the lead in the final seconds. So Snatsky clearly the MVP in that game.
Yeah, way to take advantage of the time given to him. Like I mentioned, there was two defenders sitting at that midfield and they just backed off and there was no reason for it. Like one of them or someone needs to communicate, hey, go pressure that. Otherwise he's gonna have a free clear. And he was in his zone, he was by his boost. Get in his face and cause that to go back in, because in most cases, you're going to win that 50-50.
But still, Summit, they were holding strong, their defense on point, able to get those rotations in, and even just remaining cool under pressure, keeping
There's a couple that were really close.
Very close,
yeah.
but they still were able to keep this one close and score in the final seconds. Summit really coming alive in this series, but Supersonic Avengers, they had the lead in those final seconds. I wonder if they're getting a little bit nervous.
I mean, it got close. They kind of had that lead almost secured, I thought. And then in the last couple seconds, they tied up, and then they come back.
Well, guess what, Lawler?
Oh, everybody's
we
ready.
have it again. Neo Tokyo. We're going down on the field with another pick. This one, again, if I had to guess, a pick by Summit.
Yeah, third match, again. Summit's involved. I would call it Summit's pick.
No Wasteland, but Neo Tokyo twice today, making an appearance in this European League Play Week 1.
Well, the last time they did pick it, they did lose on it, so hopefully that doesn't come back to bite them.
Jesse trying to prevent them from being bitten as Snatsky put that one in, but it was easily saved. Now Flarkey on the counterattack recovers quickly, and now that one's going to roll up the wall. Snatsky is able to read that one and following it up for a second touch, messing up Jesse, but Jesse still remains cool as Doomsy's going to try to follow that one up, but quickly decides to retreat.
It looks like Jesse's taking full advantage of what he learned from the first time he played, taking advantage of the elevation, going from up to down, really changing up the pace.
Shot from Sevenum off the backboard, like you were saying, the ceiling's so high, and Jesse with that aerial pass off the backboard.
That backboard is so tall, playing that up at high, actually hitting where it says score, and then it dropping perfectly down to his teammate. Sevedon with a great shot, putting them up by 1.
1 goal lead for Summit here in game number 3 in the series. We're tied at 1-1. Flarkey is going to dribble that one by. Snatsky just blocks him outright and gets the pass into the middle, but Sevenum will be the one to whip it, actually. Now ELMP with the touch. Snatsky slowly inching his way up that corner. Now has some time to work with. Snatsky getting beat there by Sevenum, but Doomsy is able to get that hit up into the corner. Jesse being blocked by ELMP, but a lot of demos going down in that corner.
Yeah, a lot of options when you play the corner because of the way that it bounces back out. If you play it quick, it'll eventually ramp up and kind of play lightly and waft its way into the middle. Otherwise, you can cut it inside really quick, and it's a hard read when coming at that higher elevation. It's almost as if someone's taking an aerial shot.
Now 2 minutes into this game, ELMP is going to get a shot, but Flarkey able to block that one easily. Snatsky off the backboard. It's going to drop down for ELMP, and a chance Snatsky's going to pass that out. Doomsy waiting for it, and Doomsy punches it in.
ELMP, I thought he was in the way, but he literally like break dances sideways out of the way, getting that 50-50 and then spinning and actually hitting Doomsy, and Doomsy able to get to it. I don't know if he would have hit Doomsy if Doomsy would have been able to get that angle.
Yeah, that was like the Indiana Jones dive out of the way of the ball, coming right for you.
Oh my goodness.
ELMP getting out of the way for Doomsy to tie that one up. Now Snatsky gets the touch, To relieve some pressure, ELMP off the wall, puts it down for Doomsy, and Doomsy's going to put a bounce shot, but Flarkey turns it aside. Sevenum up in the air. Going down to Jesse. Jesse misses, but Sevenum does not. As that one risky, ELMP, Doomsy both going for that ball as well. Able to make the save. Now Sevenum in the corner. Trying to get it by Snasky, failing to do so. Doomsy up. But a long clear off the backboard from Flarkey, and that's going to bounce down for Jesse. Jesse just relinquishes possession right to Snasky.
Right, in situations like that, Jesse can and should recognize with Doomsy going up, he's completely boost starved, has some time as they're rotating back. That allows his team to poise up and then rotate as a unit. Unfortunately, like you said, he threw away possession, and now Supersonic Avengers, despite that, still fighting as Summit pressure's on.
That's a chance. Doomsy wasn't able to read it, and Sebedum makes him pay for it.
Just like you said, Doomsy not able to read it. He's rotating through, trying to get a touch on this. But Jesse plays that and uses the backboard very well. It looked like he was going to play it inside, but using that high backboard to his advantage, it drops down, and his teammate follows up.
Doomsy, after failing to handle that backboard play, concedes the lead here to Summit in game number 3 on Neo Tokyo. Now Snasky gonna be able to hit that back into the middle for ELMP, but Sevenum gets in the way. Sevenum picking up full boost will be a threat. Waiting for ELMP to try to clear, and Sevenum getting the block to keep the pressure on.
Really good pinch too with that contest by ELMP. Ball rockets across the field. Right over the top of the goalpost too. Very, very minimal danger.
And even that play there, you saw, because of how high the ceiling was, looked like Flarkey was expecting it to bounce off the ceiling, but it never did. The ceiling's so high in Neo Tokyo.
Very difficult to read.
Doomsy and Snasky both on the wall. Snasky getting beat by Sevenum. ELMP is going to try to dribble this one out. Does get it by Flarkey, and that one's going to go right into the corner. A perfectly placed shot by ELMP.
Taking full advantage of that ball bouncing out to middle with a perfect trap, plays it, recognizes one coming in, and then just a quick chip over. Unfortunately for this team of Summit, Jesse just barely missing that save, and it causes that last man back to also misjudge it. And we tie this game up with 1 minute left.
This game's so close. As Jesse's going to put that off the backboard, Flarkey was also up, so no one was ready to follow up that pass. This one's going to be a roller. ELMP waiting for it. Up the wall, getting a hit. It's going to go right to Flarkey, but Doomsy failing to break it up, and now a chance for Jesse, but Snasky was able to get in the way.
Good recovery by Doomsy. Went up and read that, actually tried to get the touch, but the second one threw him off. But as soon as he landed, able to recover, put it back in. But now Jesse trying to bring it downfield. I like how he's bringing it to the corner and wasting no time to get a touch on it to play back to his team.
ELMP denying that backward pass. That would have been right to a Summit player in the middle. So relieving pressure here as we're in the final 15 seconds of gameplay here in game number 3. ELMP with a shot opportunity. That's going to be high potentially, but Flarkey gets the save. ELMP bouncing it in off the corner. Snasky gets the win. Still dangerous. Doomsy's going to come in the final seconds. Clutches it for Supersonic Avengers.
What a clutch play from Doomsy. We talk about how he sits back so far and poises up. He waited for 4 people to go up in the air, reads that perfectly, and then boosts down to play that underneath. What a play by Doomsy.
He just waited and waited and waited, and in the final seconds charged in to get Supersonic Avengers the win in game number 3. Wow, in the final seconds, what a performance. Supersonic Avengers showing why they belong at the top in EU.
Coming in the clutch. Same score, though, as the last game. A lot less shots, but making those shots count. You see on the other side, they're pretty even overall, but the saves that came out, even on their own side, like there was a couple pinches that flew all the way across the net. You mentioned how they were trying to predict some of those shots going off the ceiling, but the ceiling being so tall, changing it up, making it very difficult. They also use that to their advantage in the 50-50s. When those things are rocketing across the side, those should hit the ceiling and come down, but in Neo Tokyo, they don't.
The backboard being a huge player in this, and on this map especially, because there's so much real estate on the backboard. We saw how it affected Doomsy, misreading a hit off the backboard, multiple backboard opportunities, and really, I wonder if that will lend itself better to certain teams' play styles. You know, for instance, Northern Gaming, Northern so well known for their backboard play. This one, a very tight series, but Summit ended up falling to Supersonic Avengers, and that now 2 picks that they've had, and you were talking about it on the desk. Anytime someone picks a non-standard map,
it's happened.
They seem to lose
every single time. That's like 100% ratio. So it worries me. It's like, yeah, we should pick it. It'll be fun. It'll be great. And they've been doing well. Like, there's a couple plays that they made that do work out very well. But it just seems to be that SA and Supersonic Avengers are taking advantage of it a little bit more. That last shot by ELMP that we saw where he was able to dribble is because there's some people caught up on the lips.
And now we've got the start of game number 4. Supersonic Avengers 1 game away from closing this series out and forcing Summit down to a 2-series loss, but Sevenum has some other ideas.
Coming out very, very quickly. Jesse getting that 50-50 contest over on Snasky, not wasting any time, but Snasky and Sevedom getting tangled up, but Sevedom's going to be the one that comes over the top and puts that shot in. 7 seconds, what a good response.
Summit trying to keep their series hopes alive as they get that first goal in, just 7 seconds into game number 4. ELMP to Snasky. Snasky getting interfered with by Flarkey. Ball bouncing out to Jesse, but Snasky was there to get in the middle of that one. ELMP trying to lead the counterattack. Doomsy's going to put this up for ELMP. Will ELMP set it for Snasky? No, Jesse is going to interrupt that. Now Sabadum off the backboard. You see him using up all his boost, now struggling to get back as Flarkey is trying to slow down the attack and does so.
Summit getting very close together there. As we saw one rotate back, better to just play across field as you have 2 players on that side already.
Oh, all players are out for Supersonic Avengers. Sevenum, you see him opting to get boost there, and Supersonic was able to recover, but we saw ELMP shooting that one high just previously on a good assault from Supersonic Avengers, but still the lead remaining with Summit.
Doomsy's starting to play that game a little bit more aggressive, and it's working out. Even some of the shots where he's letting that ball settle on top of him instead, just so we can get a little bit extra oomph on it, but still handled by Summit pretty well.
Now Sevenum blocked by Snasky. Flarkey's going to leave it. No, he turns a quick U-turn using that E-brake, and Jesse's going to follow it up, but ELMP with the save. And Snasky trying to lead the counterattack, maintains possession, is able to get it by Sevenum, and Jesse had some struggles there as that one's still almost going in. What is happening? Pure chaos instigated by Snasky there.
That's the only way you can describe that as chaos, is those shots went across the net multiple times, and I'm like, okay, they caught a break, and then he almost shoots it on his own net.
And now Snasky with a chance to redirect that in, and Jesse able to get his fender on that one. So close. If Snasky would have put that just a touch over, he might have been able to beat Jesse, but Jesse recovering in time to preserve the lead here for Summit in game number 4.
Well, we saw something very similar out of Doomsy and ELMP in a previous game, in game 1, where they had that pass play up.
Doomsy gets a long clears, following it up off the backboard. No, that might be going in. That one a close call yet again. Summit seeming to have 9 lives here.
Good backup by Jesse covering him.
ELMP off the ceiling is going to put a shot in off the post. Snasky was too close and he couldn't react in time. Now Doomsy off the backboard. Sevenum misses. ELMP up. Is going to put it on target, and it's going to be too much for Summit to handle.
Fantastic pressure coming out from SA as this pass from Doomsy, realizing he can't get the shot, plays it high off the backboard. That draws Sevenum down. And then ELMP going up high as well, placing that top left. Very difficult shot to save, and in between 2 defenders.
And now tied up yet again in these series, these 2 teams neck and neck. Now Sevenum up above his own goal, trying to dribble that one out, but Doomsy able to get a touch on that one. Flarkey getting beat by Snasky. Snasky is going to go up for it, going to try to settle it. He gets it right to Doomsy, who puts it in for the lead.
Not only settling it, but settling it off the wall. Snasky playing this so well, gets up, and then not only in his aerial is going to hit it, but pinches it perfectly to the midfield, so it comes a bit off the wall for a waiting Doomsy, who slams that in off the top.
Snasky said he felt like he did not play that well in the qualifiers, but here In the first week of league play, Snasky is a shining star.
Yeah, he's making a couple of mistouches, a couple of shots just aren't on, but even with those shots not going perfectly at the net, he's still putting them at the net and drawing someone out. Even more important. He's getting involved. That's what you want.
And he's got full boost and ready to do some damage yet again. Might follow it up off the backboard here. No, he leaves it. And now, off the backboard for Doomsy. Doomsy getting blocked by Sebedum, but Supersonic still applying that pressure. The LMP off the wall, gonna follow it up. It's going to roll out to Snasky. Snasky trying to get it by Sebedum, but Sebedum gets the win. Jesse with a shot opportunity, and that's gonna go off the crossbar. Still dangerous as Flarky off the crossbar, and ELMP gets the save.
All that pressure set up because Sebedum on midfield defense. As soon as that ball gets glued, he shoves it right back in, and then back to back, but SA getting so lucky those are hitting crossbar.
And another crossbar there, but this time for Supersonic Avengers, and Doomsy trying to close this one out for Supersonic Avengers.
Just a quick counterattack, that first shot coming in, and Flarky just trying to recover. As soon as that ball gets out, he's trying to rotate back into net, just not enough time. And another shot by Doomsy right on net.
That was quite the knife by Doomsy on onslaught of pressure by Supersonic Avengers. As we are in the final minute of gameplay, winding down to just the last 30 seconds with a 2-goal lead here for Supersonic Avengers. Snasky, oh, a missed touch by Flarky. Snasky's gonna try to hit that in off the post, still dangerous. So we're in the final 20 seconds. Snasky relentlessly attacking this defensive Summit, and Snasky in reverse, trying to pop that through.
What are you doing?
See Summit losing their minds.
That goal probably would have went in a bit earlier, but on his way up, Snasky landed on Doomsy, and then Doomsy repaid that and hit his other teammate, ELMP, in the back. So nobody was really up to help Snasky as he pressured over and over again, but it doesn't seem to matter, able to keep that pressure on for so long.
And now, in game number 4, Supersonic Avengers is going to close this one out against Summit, who took game number 1, but then Supersonic Avengers roaring back with 3 straight wins.
Very clinical play by Supersonic Avengers. Coming out, showing that Summit, they were here to play. They went up by 2 very early and then 4 immediate unanswered. But after that, they really settled down and just felt comfortable with what it looked like they were trying to do.
And Snasky again with that big overtime play. Really, I think that was the play of the series. The most impactful play. Snasky with that long clear and then reading it right off of the corner, putting that one in. Snasky MVP.
Yeah, Snasky really showed up. You mentioned how last week he said he wasn't feeling like he was contributing enough. He definitely contributed in this series. All of them over the field. You saw some very clutch plays. Snasky had that one off the corner. You saw Doomsy was able to play it underneath and Neo Tokyo in the last couple of seconds. Everybody stepping up for their team.
Yeah, Neo Tokyo yet again. What a treat that was. But that's going to be
that statistic staying true, man.
Yeah, but that's going to be it for us down on the field. We'll go ahead and hear what the analysts have to say. Axel Toss, back to you.
Thanks, James Bott and Lawler. Congrats to Supersonic Avengers taking the 3-1 victory there over Summit. A little bit unfortunate for Summit, as that means they now have 2 losses on the day for their 2 matches. But let's take another look at exactly how Supersonic Avengers was able to pull that off with the replay and the highlights of that match.
As far as Summit is concerned, Sebedum was their striker, getting 7 of the 9 goals for Summit in this series.
And it worked out for them in game number 1 as they were able to take the win. See that pass from Flarky, Sebedum able to push it through, but then from the rest of the series, it was just all Supersonic Avengers.
Supersonic woke up, they got what they needed. There were a couple of moments that we thought they weren't going to make it through, but Snasky coming alive with many, many goals here in overtime, just getting that angle he needs.
I'm not saying that it's hot out here, but 2 Hobbits just dropped a ring into the tailpipe of Mount Doomsy. Look at the way this guy plays. The way he lit it up in games 3 and 4 was incredible.
I can't follow that up.
You can't follow this guy up either. Look at that pass from Snasky, playing it off the wall. They talked about how he felt like he was shirking in rounds 1 here in week 2, playing so well, setting up his teammate. That save from ELMP was incredible. And then Doomsy coming in, finishing it all off. There's going to be all the Supersonic Avengers show as they wrap up this match against Summit.
Doomsy was quite the striker, getting 5 of their goals, but Snasky and ELMP both getting 3 as well, so relatively well-rounded Whereas when you look at Summit, Sebedon getting 7 of the 9 goals. He did tie his teammate up last week. Flarkey got 7 goals in a single series. But now after 7 out of 9, that means Flarkey and Jesse only scored 1 goal apiece.
Yeah, no, it was very well done by Sebedon, really helping carry his team here, but the overall just well-roundedness of Supersonic Avengers really carrying them through. And that last save by ELMP was brutal as they just dropped straight down onto it, pops it right out, great positioning. Supersonic Avengers looking hot.
So what do we make of this for Summit? Because I feel like inevitably some of these teams are running into some really top teams, right? So we're seeing some 2-loss markers. For example, Deception from the North American region yesterday. Summit losing 2, but they went up against Market Aces and Supersonic Avengers. How does this fare for Summit as the league goes forward?
It's definitely difficult. These are the top teams as far as what we would have predicted going in to league play. Both these teams would have probably placed in the top 4 as contenders to continue on with this. So it's definitely tough for Summit, but as we've seen a lot of upsets already in the RLCS, I'm hoping that they can maybe take from this, learn from their mistakes, learn from what they had troubles with. They were a little bit slow paced sometimes and they were getting outbeat. Maybe they can pick up the pace as weeks go on.
Yeah, and Deception we saw from the qualifier to week 1 make massive improvements, and even though they did drop 2 of their games, they were so close in both of their series. And I think especially with these teams who are playing the larger teams early on, as they move on and play the teams that are more kind of down in their areas, we would consider it, if they can make the same sort of improvements we saw Deception make, I think Summit still has an excellent chance of making it to that top 6.
I mean, we might be a little biased because Summit keeps picking Neo Tokyo, so
They do.
looking forward to watching Summit in the future and keep picking Neo Tokyo. It's fun to watch those games and to see the different play and whatnot. But next match of the day, let's keep it rolling. We're gonna have Precision Z versus Supersonic Avengers. So Supersonic Avengers getting a nice win against Summit with a 3-1. You gotta think they have some momentum, so we'll have to see how they fare against Precision Z. That's gonna be the next match, but we're gonna take a short break right now from the Rocket League Championship Series. This is Season 2 European play. We'll be right back.